Today, we look at 10 pop-punk musicians who have been arrested. Let's check it. Let me be forward with you for a minute. I've been arrested before. Yeah, I got hit with a DUI back in 2011 with a providing alcohol at a minor charge to the same girl I've been with for the last decade, who is now the pop punk mom. If anybody wants to know what jail's like, go home, sit in your closet, turn your lights off, and that's pretty much it. It's not as glamorous as Hollywood makes it at all. But that got me thinking, who from Hollywood, rather the pop punk world, has been arrested throughout the years? So today we take a look at just that. And forewarned, some of the charges for some of these band members either never really made their way all the way through court, and on the total opposite spectrum of that, aren't for the faint at heart. So without further ado, let's just get into it. First up is Adam Lazzara of Taking Back Sunday. The lead singer from Taking Back Sunday was arrested back in February of 2015 for allegedly boozing and cruising in his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. He was pulled over early Sunday morning for blowing through a red light, and officers at the scene smelled booze during the stop and busted him for a DWI. He was later released on a $2,500 bond and went through all the normal stuff like I went through getting a DUI. Pussy Riot. Yeah, you heard that right, if you don't know who that band is. Members of the Russian female punk group, Pussy Riot, were sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2012 after they were found guilty of hooliganism, which I didn't even know was a word or a real thing, but apparently is in Russia, for performing a song that's critical of President Vladimir Putin in a church, nonetheless. The 5 months they were detained counted towards their sentence, but this is more of a punk rock act than anything. I mean, they busted into a church and began singing, "Mother Mary, please drive Putin away," which prompted their arrest. This band has been in, the media for a lot of things, for their outspokenness on feminism and LGBTQ, as well as obviously their not so much likeness of Vladimir Putin. However, this did spark some kind of controversy for the freedom of speech rights that are in Russia. The U.S. Embassy in Moscow said on its official Twitter page that the sentence was disproportionate, and a spokesperson from the European Union said, together with reports of the band members' mistreatment under their pre-trial detention and the reported irregularities of the trial, it puts a serious question mark over Russia's respect for international obligations of fair, transparent, and independent legal processes. I mean, the gals are out of prison now, but who knows what they'll pull next. Michael Davenport of the Ataris. Former bassist Michael Davenport of the Ataris was arrested in December 2017 for his role in a $27 million real estate scam. The grand jury charges, which were filed at the United States District Court for the Southern District of Illinois in December of 2017, accused Davenport and his telemarketing firm, American Standard, of victimizing over 100,000 people and defrauding these individuals out of more than $27 million between the years of 2009 and 2016. The charges allegate that Davenport oversaw a scheme that offered customers a list of American Standard's list of houses that were either foreclosed, in financial distress, or up for foreclosure for the low price of $200 for a house. However, the listings were allegedly false and misleading, and often fictional, and there were no houses where they actually listed them to be. And when customers demanded their money to be refunded, American Standard made it to where it was virtually impossible to satisfy any requests upon refunds. The FBI raided American Standard's offices in October of 2016, following hundreds of complaints against the company. The grand jury also adds that American Standards had also fleeced victims in all 50 states. Pretty crazy. Travis McCoy of Gym Class Heroes. Travis McCoy was arrested on July 2nd, 2008, after hitting a man in the head with a microphone while performing. The man had been in a crowd in a concert in St. Louis, and it had allegedly been shouting racial slurs to McCoy on stage, to which McCoy responded, "What the hell did you just call me?" McCoy then brought the man on stage to call him out in front of the crowd. In a statement, McCoy's publicist said that the man had hit McCoy's knee, which was in a brace stint kind of thing, due to a recent strain that he'd suffered. But irregardless, he was later charged with a third-degree assault, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. Things didn't stop there, because on October 28th of 2010, McCoy was arrested again. While on tour in Berlin, Germany, for tagging the Berlin Wall. Yeah, graffiti. He was later released on 1,500 euros bail, which is like $2,081 in US, and continued his European tour all the way through Amsterdam. He later posted a picture of the artwork on his Twitter account, which you can see right here. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day was arrested on November 21st, 1995, for mooning a crowd at the Mecca Milwaukee Auditorium. Milwaukee is famous for this, just arresting people for disorderly conduct and lewd exposure, that kind of stuff. Let me give some examples. There was George Carlin, who was busted for performing his infamous 7 words you can't say on television skit. The one that's actually, the words of it are Family Reunion by Blink-182. But he did that in 1972 and was arrested. There was the Plasmatics singer Wendy O. Williams, who was booked and beat the shit out of after a provocative show in 1981. And obviously, there was the time the one and only Gigi Allen was booked for tossing poop into a Milwaukee crowd in 1989. I mean, the last one, I guess, it's kind of acceptable. I don't want shit thrown at me at a concert. But anyway, back to Billy, who was 23 at the time. And I guess, allegedly, they played an hour-long set, Green Day did. He got pissed and mooned the crowd of 6,000 people, which, that's like nothing these days to Green Day. But I digress. And was immediately escorted right off stage, taken downtown, and booked for indecent exposure, which landed him a fine of $141.85. The city council said that this was more of a citation than a real arrest, but either way, he was put in handcuffs and thrown in the back of a squad car. But then again, Billy found himself again in cuffs in January 2003, where he found himself having a DUI. He was driving a black BMW in Berkeley, California, his hometown, and was speeding around 1 a.m. The police pulled him over for speeding, smelled a little bit of alcohol on him, and he failed a field sobriety test and was booked that night, getting out on $1,053 bail. Travis Barker of Blink-182 was arrested on December 7th of 2014 after making death threats against his then-wife, Shannon Moklar, who, by the way, was also charged and cited alongside Travis Barker and thrown into a squad car with him for making threats to him as well. The couple was just off the height of their TV series Meet the Barkers, and Travis was still recouping from having his near-death experience plane crash. It was super surprising at the time because both Travis and Moklar lived in the same house at the time. The argument started over a reality series that Travis wanted to do. Travis, Shannon, and the 2 kids, kind of like a Meet the Barkers spin-off, or maybe it was just the 2 kids. Either way, that's what sparked the argument. And according to documents which were filed by Shanna, so the family could be evaluated for a possible custody change, Travis supposedly said, "If I could, I'd put a bullet in your head." Then she called the cops to their LA home. Travis then told the cops that Shanna also threatened him back, and she said that she'd have her boyfriend come beat him up. I know they're living in the same house, but she also had a boyfriend. According to sources, they were booked, but no charges were ever pressed. And I'm glad things are better now for them, especially the kids. Fall Out Boy's Patrick Stump was arrested in August of 2009 after a routine traffic stop revealed an outstanding warrant for driving without a valid driver's license. The warrant was issued after Stump failed to appear before a Beverly Hills judge in 2007. However, the singer was released on Wednesday morning on $15,000 bail. Stump made a statement saying, "All I really have to say is ignorance of the law isn't ignorance. I didn't want to give up my Illinois driver's license and was unaware that that was a crime. It is, by the way, in the state of California. Lesson learned. I technically broke a law, so technically I deserve whatever I get, but man, is my mom gonna be pissed." Boys Like Girls drummer John Keefe was arrested after a dispute with his neighbor in 2010 over the noise of a carpet cleaning company in its van parked outside of his downtown condo in Mansfield. Police were told that the drummer opened the van several times and turned off the carpet cleaning equipment that was powered by a supposedly loud generator. That, in my opinion, is kind of a bitch move. I mean, your career is playing drums. Your career is making loud noises, and you can't put up with a carpet cleaning company. But I digress. Keefe was charged with breaking and entering of a motor vehicle and was released without bail after pleading not guilty in the Attleboro District Court. Pretty much sure this one was settled out of court because I couldn't find anything about it. I think it was just 2 people being butthurt. Unstoppable force, unmovable object. Steve Klein of New Found Glory, former guitarist of New Found Glory, was arraigned in the California court on December 12, 2013 on charges that include lewd conduct with a minor under the age of 14 and possession of child pornography, as well as the intent to commit a sex offense stemming from sexual two-way chat videos involving underage girls found on Klein's computer. and the judge granted him release on his own recognizance, as opposed to the $150,000 bail that was set for him. On the day of his arraignment, New Found Glory had announced they had parted ways with Klein and had announced that they would remain a four-piece band from then on out. The summary from the charges are as follows. 2 accounts of lewd conduct with a minor under the age of 14, 3 counts of lewd conduct with a minor 14 or 15 years old, 1 count of intent to commit lewd acts with a minor, 1 count of possession of child pornography. Every single one of these accounts are felonies. If convicted, here's how many years he could serve. For the 2 counts of lewd conduct with a minor, 6 to 8 years in prison. 3 counts of lewd conduct with a minor 14 or 15. 1, 2, or 3 years per count. 1 count of intent to commit lewd acts with a minor. Sentences vary. 1 count of possession of child pornography up to 1 year in state prison or county jail, and or up to a $2,500 fine. As of the reading of this, I honestly don't know if anything came about of it. So please let me know in the comments if you know. I mean, this happened like 2013, 2014, and the band's put out like 3 records since then. I haven't heard anything about it. So let me know if you know it was like settled out of court, or it's still pending, or if he was found innocent. And as of this day, he's still active on Twitter. But let me know if you know. Speaking of stuff that's kind of the same as the one before this, with New Found Glory, is Lost Prophets Ian Watkins. You want to know why you don't hear anything from Lost Prophets anymore? You know the band did that Jumping Off the Rooftop song? Well, this is why. Ian was arrested on December 9th, 2012, and was charged with conspiracy to engage in sexual activity with a 1-year-old girl, and with the possession and distribution of indecent images of children, and extreme animal pornography. Wait, animal pornography? These charges were made and heard at the Cardiff Magistrates Court. He was remanded into custody, as were his 2 female co-conspirators. That's right, female co-conspirators. Who could they be? Well, they were the parents of the kids. Yeah. In November, Watkins pleaded guilty to charges that include the attempt to rape or sexually assault a child under the age of 13, 3 accounts of sexual assault involving a child, and 6 charges involving taking, making, or possessing of indecent images of children, and 1 of possessing extreme pornographic imagery involving a sex act on an animal. Basically, what did he do? Well, he groped a fan's baby son and then attempted to rape another child. He's also convicted of convincing a groupie fan to abuse her child on a webcam, but he ended up getting sentenced to 35 years in prison after pleading guilty on December 18th. Things didn't stop there for him, because an update from last year says that on March 4th, 2018, while serving his sentence, for what you ask? Hiding a cell phone in his butt. On between the dates of March 4th and March 10th of 2018, Watkins was found with a cell phone. I guess what happened is that cops were tipped off that he was in the possession of a phone, which is totally illegal in jail. And he was searched, head to toe, patted down, all of that stuff, in a sterilized cell. However, one of the prison officers was asked by Ian, would he be allowed to see his mom, who was due for a visit that day, if he produced the phone. And he reached into his underwear and pulled it out. What kind of phone was that, you may ask? Definitely not an iPhone SX Max, but a 3-inch long white GT Star. He pleaded not guilty, but then was found guilty, and the judge added an additional 10 months to his already 35-year sentence. And last but not least, Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse. Where the hell do I begin? I guess start at the beginning, back in May 6th of 2006. Ronnie Radke met up with this guy named Marcel Colquitt, and they were looking to duke it out with some people. And they ended up bringing some men with them, which, according to witnesses, were like 6 to 8 people. During the fight, 22-year-old Chase Radar, who was accompanying Radke, shot 18-year-old Michael Allen Cook 3 times, killing him, as well as wounding another person. Radar was arrested and charged for murder, but the district attorney declined to prosecute him despite his confession, as it was determined that Radar he was in self-defense. Radke and Colquitt were charged with the involvement of Cook's death, although Colquitt committed suicide before he could stand trial. On January 18th, 2008, Radke pleaded guilty to battery with substantial bodily harm in relation to Cook's death, and was ordered to be placed on probation for 5 years, as well as ordered to pay $92,372 in restitution to Cook's mother. However, after violating his terms and conditions of his probation, he was made to serve the 2.5-year sentence that he was originally given. Because of his criminal activity and prison sentence, escaped the fate, severed ties with Radke, which is why he's on the band anymore. I had no idea that was the reason. Doesn't end there. On May 1st, 2012, Radke was accused of hitting his then-girlfriend, Sally Watts, which ended in his subsequent arrest on August 6th of the same year, after he failed to make scheduled court appearances. He was officially charged with a misdemeanor corporal injury and misdemeanor of false imprisonment. It was released on $30,000 bail. On May 14th, 2014, he pled not guilty to disruption of the peace. The Watts claimed on Twitter that Radke had already pleaded to the charges of domestic violence. September 29th, 2012. Radke was performing a show under Falling in Reverse's Fest Evil at the Six Flags Grand Adventure Fright Fest, where he threw 3 microphone stands into a crowd, injuring 2 people. A 16-year-old girl who was taken to the hospital, and a 25-year-old who was treated at the scene. He was charged with simple assault, aggravated assault, and released on $25,000 bond. He apologized for his actions, saying that it was not out of anger, and that he didn't intend to hurt anybody. But subsequently, Six Flags has since then banned any hard rock or heavy metal acts from ever performing at their park ever again due to that one event. Oh, do you think we were done? No, we're not done with him. June 10th, 2015, it was reported that Radke had been publicly accused of sexual assault by Casey Boswell in Salt Lake City, Utah. Boswell alleged that Radke, with his bus driver present, had assaulted her after a Falling in Reverse show at the Murray Theater on June 3rd, 2015. Though it was determined that he did have contact with Boswell, police found no evidence that Radke or his entourage had assaulted the girl as she claimed. Eyewitness reports say that she was visibly intoxicated upon exiting Radke's bus, which ultimately brought a defamation suit against Boswell in the LA courts. Oh yeah, I'm done with him now. Well, that's all. Hope you found this list as interesting and disturbing as I did. Let me know down below if there's anybody that I missed, or hell, even if you have some cool I've been arrested stories yourself. Thanks for watching, and let's roll the outro. Hey guys, now that we're at the end of the video, thank you for commenting, and subscribing. You can check out daily blogs on thepoppunkdad.com, which features daily reviews and interviews from awesome bands. Head on over to the Pop Punk Dad official merch shop, where you can buy cool things like that right there. It helps the channel out and lets me know that you love me. I have a weekly podcast called the Pop Punk Dadcast, which is on SoundCloud and iTunes now. Please subscribe. While you're at it, cruise around and check out other content on this channel. You can check out all my social medias, my IG, my FB, and my Twitter, at the Pop Punk Dad. And above all else, guys, stay pop punk.